Hello, how's everyone doing today? Good. Good to hear. How many of you guys and gals cook at home?
Wow.
That's pretty good. I know, every class been pretty good. What's some of your favorite stuff to make?
Sometimes I like making spaghetti with my mom.
Yeah? What about you?
I like to make
Rice and hamburgers? Yeah, that's a good one. What about you? Pancakes is a great one. What else? What you got back there? Chicken? Yeah, what do you got, bud? Yeah, tacos a good one. I eat a lot of tacos in my house. What do you guys make? What do you make?
Wow.
Peach cobbler? Nice. Love cobbler. What about you? Go ahead. Chicken waffles? That's a favorite of mine. What do you make? What do you make? Yeah. Yeah, dig it. You go ahead. How much you got? Oh, you do it? I'm coming to your house for breakfast. Yeah, I love it. You got it right here. Oh, nachos is my favorite food. You nailed it. That's my favorite one. You got behind you right there. Yeah, you. Yeah, that's good. You guys make spaghetti at home ever? Yeah, spaghetti. You guys use jar sauce a lot, maybe? No? Yeah, I cheat sometimes too. Today we're gonna teach you how to not use jar sauce. Alright? So we got some super basic ingredients. Alright, I have boiling water on first. Alright, because we obviously need that for our spaghetti. I'm gonna start over here. Something super important that not a lot of people do at home is to salt their water for their pasta. It's super important because you got to think about it. Pasta is just flour and eggs mixed together. It's not seasoned very much. You know, there's not much going on. So it's important to put a lot of salt in your water. It should taste like the ocean, or it should taste like very salty water. You know what the ocean tastes like, but it should be very, very salty. So I put a bunch in there. You can kind of taste it, you know, if you want. It should be very salty. So that's always the first step. Get your water boiling, get it going. I put a top on it so it boils faster. Yeah. The what? The spaghetti? You're all gonna eat it for sure, 100%. Oh yeah. So we're gonna go through a couple of the ingredients I got. Super easy. This is a Spanish onion, right? Sometimes called a yellow onion or Spanish onion. We got cloves of garlic, right? Whole cloves of garlic. So nice. We got some fresh basil, right? Which is beautiful. You guys should pass this around and smell it. It's gorgeous. And the garlic. Pass it around. So garlic and onions are very, very potent. They're very powerful smell. But when you cook them, they mellow out, become a little more relaxed and more palatable. If you just ate this garlic clove, it would be gross. It'd be terrible.
I'm gonna go home and practice for 6 hours making these meals.
Oh, guys.
That's alright. Take it out, you're fine.
Whoa! Little garlic.
It's just garlic.
It's garlic. Focus on it, but you gotta be careful. Somebody dropped some garlic. You have some jumping garlic over there. You please have hands on the floor, please. Garlic on the floor. Let's be careful when we transfer it person to person.
So you guys keep passing that around. First thing we're going to cook for our pomodoro sauce. So you know pomodoro is just like marinara, right? It's just a little chunkier and cooked a little less.
Guys, let's listen up. No voices now.
First things first, we're going to cut our onion. It's strong, right? That's why you got to cook it. You can't eat it like that. I go real fast. I'm not going to, but I'm going to go slow for you. All right? So onion, I showed the other class this, but you guys can see it has lines across it, right?
Guys, let's pay attention. Let's pay attention to what he's saying about the onion.
Right? You guys see it? Lines all across it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's listen to Chef Nick, please.
All right, you see onions have lines on them, right? So we're going to kind of cut along those lines. And then I'll show you.
We're giving it up. It's so good.
Just like we do on TV real fast. Watch your fingers. Be careful.
Should have all the kids eat. Should have all the kids eat a clove. They go into class.
Alright, so now we have a nice pile of onions. I'm going to put that on a plate. We're going to throw it into our pot with a little bit of olive oil. For this amount of people, maybe a quarter cup. We're going to crush our garlic, right? Because we want it to be whole, but we want it to be broken down a little bit. I like to take the knife and just kind of smash it with my hand. All right. We're going to add that. You can hear it, right? The sounds are good, right? It's cooking. I'm on probably medium high heat right now. It's important to use your salt. Season your onions and garlic. Now we want our onions and garlic to be translucent. Does anyone know what that means? Translucent? Translucent. You raised your hand. I thought you knew. Translucent is so you kind of see through it, so it kind of becomes clear a little bit. We don't want it to be brown. We don't want it to be black. We don't want to burn it. We just want to cook it real slow. So the onions and garlic kind of become clear almost, like translucent. I'm going to add a splash more oil. The olive oil and tomato sauce go very good together. They're like best friends. At this point, if you like spicy, you can put in a little red pepper flake, but we're going to hold back on that today. I'm going to walk around and show you guys this too. So you can see it's already starting to become a little more clear, less white, right? But no brown, no black. We want to take our time, right? Yeah, pour onions and garlic together and olive oil, right? And take our time, no dark colors, right? Nice and slow, see? Grab me, guys. Hurry up, that one.
So that's a gas canister. So it shoots gas through the system, and then that lights and burns the gas. So you had to replace the canister because it ran out of gas.
Oh, that's why.
See that?
All right, we're back. So salty water, translucent garlic and onions. Nice saute sounds. All right. Don't be shy in the oil. Don't be shy in the salt. So this is boiling. You want some dry spaghetti with me? All right. I'm gonna wait a second on this so we can get it ready. Salty. So after about 5 minutes of onions cooking, right? You see it's kind of like getting more translucent. We're gonna add our tomato product. These are just regular old whole stewed canned tomatoes you can get them in any store. I like to use the bigger, chunkier ones and then kind of break them down with my spoon a little bit. You know? So I'm gonna add a couple of these to our sauce. I'm going to continue to season along the way, a little more salt. And then since some of those tomatoes are so big in there, I use my spoon. You know, at work I use a big wooden spoon and I kind of break them down.
I bet it's gonna be so good.
Hold on, I'll let you down.
I bet it's gonna be crazy good.
We're going to let that cook for a little
He hasn't
bit.
even done the cheese yet.
Spaghetti noodles usually take about 10 minutes in boiling water. I'm going to drop all these in. We're going to be careful about it. It's also important after you drop your spaghetti to stir your water and stir your noodles. You don't want them to stick together. You don't want big clumps. Right? Just stirring them is very important. Make sure they're all down dunked in there. None are hanging over the edge.
What kind of tool is that?
These, well, these are tweezers, but they're giant, they're big tweezers. Kind of like somewhere in between normal sized tweezers and tongs for medium sized jobs. It's also important that it boils, it's boiling. I'm gonna put this lid on it, keep it hot, keep it boiling, and then we'll go back to our sauce. So in the last couple of minutes, which we're in now, the last 5 minutes, I like to add basil to the
To begin
sauce.
with, right?
We're gonna add basil to the sauce, and then we're gonna use basil to garnish it at the end as well. Alright. Basil doesn't like to be cut. It's a very delicate herb. It's very soft. So if you cut it with a knife, it tends to turn brown very fast. So a good technique for basil is just to kind of tear it off. Right? And use it as is. Use it if they're small leaves, eat it that way. If they're larger leaves, you can kind of just break them with your hands. That's because the knife cuts through them. They just die. They're very sensitive. They're soft. Basil is what I call soft herb. Basil, parsley, cilantro. Soft, delicate herbs that you can eat raw or you can cook with. Some people put the whole stems in there, right, for extra added flavor. I don't think that's necessary for us today, but it does add a nice amount of basil flavor.
It does, right?
A little bit more. for a second so you guys can see it. Alright, you see? It's coming along, right? There's onions, garlic, tomatoes, and basil, and olive oil. That's all we have so far. Super simple. Super simple. Getting there.
Because we're gonna have to do it next week. Just trying to get it down so we can learn.
Does anybody know what this is? Anyone have any ideas of this? What do you think it is? Yes, you're right. This is Parmigiano Reggiano. Right? It's like Parmesan.
Parmesan.
It's called Parmesan Reggiano. Right? It's actually from Italy. Right? So you can buy the pre-grated stuff, or you can buy blocks, which are nice because it saves well. And I'll show you guys how to kind of use this microplane tool, and we're going to grate it ourselves right in there. Yeah. We're going to check our noodles.
Jessica, I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you buy the block of cheese, how do you keep it from getting dry in the refrigerator?
You can use a Ziploc bag or plastic wrap it. It should, I mean, like, its life is forever, pretty much. But a Ziploc bag will do. Our noodles are getting close. We want our noodles to be what we call al dente. Has anyone ever heard that saying before? What does that mean? No? Close. You're on the right path. Al dente is Italian for to the tooth. Right? So what they mean is they want it slightly crunchy a little bit so you can kind of feel it in your teeth. When you hear al dente noodles, that means they got a little to the tooth. So you can feel them in your mouth. Some place where spaghetti can go wrong is a lot of times you'll see just plain noodles with sauce on top. Right? That's the common picture, I'd say, of spaghetti. But the reality is spaghetti is best done with the noodles cooked in the sauce. And these are getting pretty close. I'd say he's got about 2 minutes left on it. Also, don't be afraid to try your noodles. I always, every time, right? Even in the restaurant, I pull out, I know this isn't done. It's a little crunchy. I can break it. You can break it in half. You know it's not done yet. I can feel it. It's not very good. Well, about another 2 minutes on that. Sauce is bubbling good. Right now we've done a good job of setting ourselves up. So we're just waiting on our spaghetti noodles. So as soon as they're ready, we can pour them in there. I will put the cheese in the sauce and I'll put it on top. What is this? This is parsley. We're also going to use this. Parsley will help freshen it up, give it a little bit of a fresh flavor, you know, not so much just canned tomatoes and onions and noodles. I'll brighten it up a little bit. Yeah.
Do you go to a restaurant?
I work at a restaurant. I'm a chef at a restaurant.
That's
Yeah? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Almost. Yeah, go ahead. Do I work at where? Olive Garden? No, I don't. I work at a restaurant called Bacco. It's in South. We serve Italian food. Like Olive Garden does. Similar. Better. But like, you know, same idea. Same idea. Is it by what? I'm not sure. Oh, good. Thank you. See? That's good teamwork. I just turned it off, right? It'll boil over sometimes because the starches will release from the noodles, go into the water. Okay. Let's test the noodle out. You can see it's not breaking in half anymore. All right, it's twisting. It still feels a little firm to me. Still breaking a little bit. But we're almost there. So I'm going to start and we're going to finish it in the sauce. If you have a colander at home, right, you just drain it into the sink. We're in a school right now, so we don't have that luxury. So I'll just pull them out.
It's not necessarily to rinse your noodles.
Oh, no, you should not rinse your noodles.
No.
No, that's a big faux pas,
Is
actually.
it?
Because you're going to rinse off all the starches.
Right.
You want the starches to mix in with your sauce. And it'll help thicken your sauce a little bit. Andrew, why don't you give me the big mixing bowl? And I'll use that. Biggest one you got. So I don't have a big enough pot, so I'm going to transfer into a mixing bowl, which is perfectly fine. And now the fun part. Sauce, noodles. You really want the spaghetti to absorb with that sauce. I really, really mix it in there good.
Bless you.
This is the part where we add a little bit of freshness, right? A little bit of chopped parsley. And of course, the best part is the cheese. What is what? Oh yeah, thank you. See, I forgot something. Thank you, you're here. Saving me with the water, saving me with this. A little splash of red wine vinegar will help bring out the acidity a little bit.
That's the taco secret.
Yeah. Well. And then lots of cheese. Lots and lots and lots of cheese is the key. The cheese will also help bring it together. Help the sauce stick to the noodles a little bit. Right?
Nobody's hungry, are they?
All right. I also like to add just a splash of olive oil too at the end. Like I said, tomatoes and olive oil are best friends. It also helps the sauce stick to the noodles as well a little bit. That's really important. You want your noodles to turn kind of orange a little bit. And I feel like a little more cheese. So I don't think you can put too much cheese on. All right, this is our finishing station.
You want me to cut this?
Yeah, you can kill it. All right, smell good, guys?
Yes.
All right, let's start dishing some out for you guys.